Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be chatting crap about the vaping news.
Okay, first up on the vaping news, we're going to go with totally Unwicked. So, it's been a 2-year long, hard battle, but sadly, as we knew was going to happen, unfortunately, Totally Wicked lost their legal challenge against the TPD, Article 20. And yeah, it is a real shame. It is a real shame. The statements that Totally Wicked have made, following their loss, you see their point. They're completely correct in it. They're just saying that we're having people say that vaping is a lot better for you than smoking. Yet it's being regulated a lot tougher than some tobacco products are going to be doing. It's going to sort of stifle and kill vaping and the e-cig community. When really, guys, we've seen that it's healthier for people at the moment, and we should be promoting that. So I totally feel for Totally Wicked. It's shit. It's not good.
Coming at this with numbers, I read the article and Totally Wicked's campaign only managed to garner not even 100,000 signatures to their petition. Now, when you take this sort of challenge on, to be taken seriously, I think you've got to get 100,000 signatures to be taken seriously by these bodies of, important people. And they didn't even manage to get 100,000 signatures. In this country alone, I think the last count was 2.3 or 2.5 million vapors. I'm not having a go, guys, but I'm just saying it's like too little too late. We're dead in the water.
Yeah, we are going to have to suck it up with the TPD. No matter how unfair it is, we're just going to have to ride it out and see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how it does all play out. But gutted for you, Totally Wicked. Gutted for us as well.
It's shit. Moving on. So, next up on the vaping news for you guys is an article titled "Why is the government out to destroy vaping?" This coming from NYPost?
NYPost.com. Yeah, so Carl Smiths wrote this article. Now, it's a really, really good article. It's a really good read. If you're only going to read one of the articles, this is a good one to read. It's really interesting, and I'm just going to briefly paraphrase a little bit of it, but I recommend you just check it out. So the first one is that he was saying that if there was a new delivery room procedure that could save 95% of people in labour, women in labour, it would be huge news, and it would be on all of the talk shows, it would be on all the news, it would be heralded as this amazing thing. It then goes on to say, if it was a new safety feature built into cars, some magic new idea, like when the airbags came out, and everyone was like, wow, this is great. But e-cigs, that Public Health England have said it's 95% better for you than smoking, and lots of other people have done research and shown it's good. None of that, just angry pitchforks. We hate vaping, and you're just like, well, hang on, let's take a step. What the fuck, dude? So obviously you start wondering about the amount of kickbacks, the media control by big tobacco and stuff like that, and government kickbacks from big tobacco, and you just start, it's a fishy tale.
It starts you on a path to thinking, there's a lot of shit going on behind the fucking scenes that we're not told about, it's not reported on, but we bear the brunt of it because we've found something that could potentially save our lives, but is being persecuted beyond all fucking belief.
Yeah, so everything, just the way things are reported, like e-cigarette explodes, and then you look into it and it turns out it wasn't an e-cigarette exploded, it was a battery that exploded because it wasn't being transported safely and someone's keys jabbed through it. And that's obviously e-cig's fault because there's a battery. Just a battery. It could happen with any battery, but no, e-cig's fault. Naughty e-cigs. Bad e-cigs.
Like we said at the beginning of this, it is a great read. I mean, we both, everyone that's a vapor is experiencing what has been written in this article. We can't recommend it enough. Just give it a read. Moving on.
Next up, we're going to Clive Bates for e-cigarette impact assessment exposes useless and illegal policy.
So yeah, like the title suggests, the UK Department of Health have published this impact statement to accompany the TPD to find out what the monetary sort of impact of this TPD is going to mean on their bottom line. What this article effectively says to all of us is something that we've long held true and known from the start, that the TPD is a complete fucking sham.
Yeah, it's a farce. It is just a mass farcical. And Clive Bates ran through it, and he said, just like us and like you guys, I'm sure, just see the TPD and just think, what the fuck? How is this come about? And the impact assessment sort of proves that, really. So yeah, interesting read again. Yeah, so the article goes on to discuss, the way they've sort of fiddled with, sort of hidden costs and stuff, and made it, very much swerved. So, look, everything's great. It's really not. So, definitely worth a read if you're interested in that sort of money, how things work behind the scenes sort of stuff. Clive's really pulled it apart, so you don't have to. So, definitely check that one out.
Nextly on the chatting crap docket is doctors warn of big tobacco firms entering e-cigarette market.
Yeah, so this is in The Guardian. First thing I sort of jump into is that, all this TPD shit is going to force people to use like a black market for e-cigs. Really. That's certainly what most people I know have been talking about, in terms of trying to make it safe by taking everything away and making it really awkward for vendors to do stuff. You are going to push people to black market, push people to make homebrew juice, and not that there's a problem with that. I do it myself, but totally fine. But you are going to push people in to do this, maybe outside of their comfort zone, And what do you think is going to happen? Drugs are illegal. Yeah, drugs are illegal. People do and buy drugs. You make e-cigs illegal. People are still going to do them. You try and lock down that regulation. Now, there are some good sides to.
Before he goes into the good sides of it, him just saying this on the sofa has just raised a really fucking good point. The fact that he himself, that they're saying that he's going to be pushing us to the black market. Now we've both done DIY e-juices. But what he said was that he's going to push people out of their comfort zone. So people that don't do DIY juices, people that don't use nicotine. Now, nicotine is a toxin. You're pushing people to do something they're not happy to do, to handle potentially dangerous goods, potentially, life-threatening goods. So how is a directive, tobacco products directive, that's going to be implemented supposed to help people when it's pushing them to do dangerous shit like that?
Yeah, it's not dangerous when done properly, but it's that outside your comfort zone, and maybe doing stuff in a rush. And similarly, though, if you do look at it as a base level, if you only vape 3mg juice, you buy it over the counter, you get your nice big bottles. I can't fucking afford these millions of 10ml bottles that have been tested, so the price is going to be massively higher. So people are going to start making their own. They're going to be buying liquid nicotine, almost pure nicotine, 72mg in 100, and that is dangerous, whereas the 3mg juice really isn't, it's just crazy. Yeah, so this is another impact assessment sort of analysis. There were hundreds of these, but Guardian, I thought, sort of handled it fairly well. They were sort of fairly middle of the road-ish, and they did have that good statement in from one e-cig shop owner, where he said that the government was sort of grudgingly accepting these tighter controls that are going to lead to a public health disaster. The point in e-cigs is getting off actual cigs, and the way they're justifying all these rules and regulations is that smoking's really unhealthy. But we've got back in that loop again, where we've been told that e-cigs are healthier, and you want to get people off cigarettes, but e-cigs are bad. But why are they bad? Why? Because of the TPD. But why are they bad? We're back in that vicious circle again. So angry I'm not even swearing. Rising above it.
He's doing good.
I'm not. I'm going to move along.
Next up on the vaping news, article by BBC Online. Yeah. E-cigarettes should be offered to smokers, say doctors.
Yeah, so not just the BBC covered this, everyone covered this, and it was great. It was a really good day for being a vapor, you know, you're just getting all these positive vape stories hitting the news. Basically, the Royal College of Physicians has said, you know, e-cigs are better than smoking. They should be offered. Come on, guys, sort it out. You know, which is what we've been saying, what loads of people have been saying. Most vapors, yeah, anyone who's got any experience with vaping and has actually properly transitioned from cigarettes onto vaping and feels all the health benefits. Everyone's saying it, and yeah, again, here we are back with the TPD coming to lock that down for us.
So yeah, finally the doctors are getting on board. Via this 200-page document, which is basically everything that we've been saying in the vlogs about, you know, how good e-cigarettes are at getting people to at least transition over and then eventually stop smoking.
Yeah, not only that, it cuts through some of the bullshit, like the media pitchforks. So, you know, things like, you know, vaping being a gateway to smoking. And they just point out that there's absolutely no basis for this, something Linda Bald has done many times, and, you know, hopefully that is still the case and will continue to do so. But, you know, it's just all these little things that we've reported on so many times that I'm almost getting tired of them. Not the good stuff, you know, I do like that, but it's just every time you read these good things, you know that there's going to be this downside with the TPD, and it's
just a ball ache, isn't it? I mean, you guys have got to feel the same as us, because, you know, we're all seeing the same stuff come round and round again. I mean, so many medical professionals get on board and say, well, actually, no, this is good, this is good, this is good. Then you get the fucking media coming in saying, no, they're exploding in people's faces, they're bad. Then you've got the fucking government saying, actually, you know, we'll push this to one side. We don't actually like it that much. We prefer our kickbacks we're getting from cigarettes.
Not just that, I mean, you've got all the health reports that come out where you go, oh, this doctor in, you know, like some hut in somewhere, you know, has done this test and vaping's 10 times worse for you than smoking. It's big front page news, you know, you just see it and oh my god, and you read it and you're like, I call bullshit. The facts don't add up. The testing method isn't there. There's not enough information. I just call bullshit. And then 2 weeks later, there'll be a little correction. We're like, oh, sorry, Dr. Nick got it wrong, you know. But it'll be like a one-liner in this fucking size 4 font at the back, hidden away, you know, between the adverts for irons and prostitutes, whatever's at the back of newspapers. I don't fucking read them. Ah!
Okay, and lastly for the vaping news. Now, you bear with us for this article because we usually like to end on a high note for the news. We'll go with it, and we'll explain to you why it's a good article. Now, the title of it is "E-cigarette charger sparks fire at Brighton home." This is by Brighton Hove News.
Yep. Yeah, so it's just like, you know, the standard story of someone was charging their e-cig at home and then fire. And while that isn't obviously a happy story, we don't like hearing stories about things setting on fire, and, you know, what we do like is the way it has been handled. So, you know, it says that a care home manager is warned of the risks of e-cigarette, you know, setting on fire if it is not charged with the correct charger. Now, this is really good. Because so many times we've had all these horror stories that e-cigs are bad. You know, we go use this as ammunition that e-cigs are bad. And there's no lesson to be learnt from it. Here, straight away, you know, your first bit is just saying, fuck's sake, charge it with the correct charger. You know, this is the problem. And doing it like this, people can learn something from it. They learn, you know, there is a horror story. There was a fire, potentially house burnt down, you know, there was a fire. However, people can learn from someone else's mistake and they have something to take away from it. This is something we've been complaining about for years. You know, whether it's fucking exploding mods or whether it's the charger setting on fire, there is always a reason for it. Rarely it could be a faulty device. However, usually there's some sort of element of user error, misinformation, you know, something along those lines. And in this case, it was the charger they were using.
Yeah, so in this particular case, the article goes on to state that the person that was charging up their e-cigarette was actually using an iPhone charger. And what we know from iPhone chargers is that when the device is fully charged, the iPhone charger doesn't actually cut the current off. It keeps pumping.
Yeah, and so you overcharge your battery and suddenly it gets very hot and suddenly it goes in thermal runaway and then you have a problem. Whoopsies. Yeah, so while it's not nice to have a charger explode, relating to e-cig, and it does count as e-cig news, even though it's user error again, but, there's luckily no injuries, no real damage, and, there's like a good message that has come from this. The fire brigade have even got, what they said in there, which is that, use the correct charger that comes with it and don't leave your charging unattended, don't do it overnight while you're sleeping, because if they were in the house asleep, could have been worse.
As is always the case with these sort of articles, we know that everyone's okay because that's how the article's written. Hopefully they're doing better and they know what to do next time in this case.
And don't go back to cigarettes just because they used the wrong plug. Cutting your nose off to spite your face. Right, that's about it that made the cut for this vaping news vlog. Now we're going to chat about what we've been vaping on this week. So, Tone, start with you.
Fuck, what have I been vaping on this week? At the minute I've just re-wicked VCMT with notch coils, so I'm trying that out at the minute. Still digging cuboids, still digging Relo. And the other one that we've got an upcoming video for is the Tesla ecig Hell's Gate 200 watt.
Touchscreen monstrosity. Spoilers. Shh. Spoilers.
What have you been vaping on?
Kind of everything. So, .mod.box 200 DNA 200 .box. It's awesome. Yeah, and that's really, really cool mod. I really like it. It's just a DNA 200 mod, so if you've seen one, you've seen them all, but hardware wise it's nice. I've been enjoying that. I've been kind of going through so many ceramic tanks this week. So started out, I was on the Crixus. That's interesting. Video coming soon. Then moved on to the Atom Vape coils that go in the crown, ceramic ones. I'm a bit disappointed with them. So marketing is great. 20 to 100 watts it says on wicked. Yeah, that's what we need. We need ceramic coils that can really chuck some heat, really chuck some clouds, and then you get them open and read the instructions, and you're like, you can only take 3-second hits. You can only vape at 30 watts. And that's kind of it. You stick it up too high and it starts burning out, which is a bit disappointing again. But still working with it, letting the coil bed in and stuff, because they take a while, and I vape a lot of different stuff. Also been checking out the new little tiny Smog micro stick, and it's pretty decent. It's very similar to the Aspire K4, which we've also been vaping on this week. Very similar setup, just from Smoke, Smog, whoever. Also good. And juice wise, I've been sort of mixing up a bit, all the one hit wonder stuff as usual, but also been doing some Zap juice, lychee lemonade. Tried a little sneaky sample of Pancake Man, which I was trying to hold out for a review. Also tried Manga Vapes, their vanilla custard. Also I've been trying to hold out for a review, but kind of caved in, and I was just like, I need to try this now. And all really nice, all lovely, all day vapes. Very different sort of areas, so you don't get tired of one taste, which is good. What about you? Blue Slush, I assume, still? Blue Slush and Pappy Man, there's going to be.
Blue Slush is running dangerously low. Actually, so is Pappy Man. So if you guys watch this, don't be afraid to send in some... No, I'm joking. Or am I? Well, so I've been on the lychee as well. Loving the lychee. What else? Vintage cola.
More Zap juice, yeah.
More Zap juice. And lastly, for e-juice, I suppose it's got to be the Black Crack from Pure Evil.
Yeah, once you go black crack, there's no going back. Tony is a crack addict now.
So wrong.
But so right.
Okay, next up for you guys is video updates on, shit we've already done.
Yeah, okay, we'll dive straight in. Lysamo L1. I love it. It was going to be Snowwolf 2. It's not. It's been stolen. But yeah, it is a really good device. You know, it's got a nice solid power delivery, a good implementation of having a screen, and even a useful clock function. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, still really liking that. I haven't been using it too much this week because I've been testing out other stuff, but I am looking forward to getting back on it. Yeah, it is a good device, so yeah, definitely check that review out if you're looking for a dual battery mod.
Next up on the video updates was the Pure Evil review that we did, and not really a lot to say about that apart from delicious and gone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Please, may we have some more.
Yeah, Tony is a black crack addict, as we said, and I was all about the jam. It is jam-tastic.
Next up on the video updates was the VCMT, which is quite recent, actually. Loving it. Like I said earlier, I've just re-wicked it, recoiled it, actually. Just had some notch coils delivered. Very nice. 2 notch coils actually brought it out to 0.09 ohm, which is kind of a bit dangerous. Luckily, I is an expert.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a really great tank, so if you're into RTAs, it's definitely worth checking out. Really, the only thing I could fault on it is the G-flow control. You have to take it apart to do that. It's not something you can do from the outside like other RTAs or RDTAs. But, you know, once you get it set up, and it is pretty easy to set up, and there's a great lot of room for the build there, you know, it is just a lovely tank to use, so yeah, nice.
Yeah, like we said in the video, one of the prerequisites for it was having a larger tank capacity, and that definitely fulfills it. For all its faults, I forgive them all.
Yeah, and then finally we had the Aspire K4. Not finally, actually, but yeah, we had the Aspire K4, which I'm still using just because you can wear it on a lanyard. However, word to the wise, if you are wearing a sort of thick pen stick, highlighter stick, it's not a pen, it's too thick, crayon stick, like pen stick vapes, you know.
Yes, we
good.
all know what he's talking about, right?
Everyone knows what I'm talking about. But if you're wearing them with the lanyard, that's all well and good. But if you spill juice down it and you've got your thing there, what happens when you're running with your dog is suddenly you see this weird little black thing fly out in front of you. You know, what the fuck's that weird little black thing? And you bend down to pick it up and go, oh, it's the rubber cuff from the top of my thing. Lucky I didn't lose that. Where is it? Oh yeah, that came off at the same time, straight off, and I hadn't noticed. But luckily, I saw the black rubber cuff, and so I was able to backtrack a couple of steps and find my K4 lodged in a molehill, which makes vaping very disgusting for the rest of the dog walk. But you know, I soldiered through.
Okay, the takeaway from this is that if you will invariably get e-juice over these things, and those cock rings, silicone by their very nature, once they get e-juice on them, become very slidey. So don't just leave it, take it off, wipe it off, put it back. No, wait a minute, that's something else. You get the idea.
Yeah, it's really weird. I find with the e-juice getting on the silicone stuff, it has one of two effects, and it's the same with silicone seals, like, you know, your Aspire Cleto, you know. It's either going to act as a lubricant, which means that the shit ain't going to stick, you know, you're trying to pull the glass on, it just wants to pop off. Or sometimes it's going to actually act as a seal. It creates like an added vacuum, and it makes it more difficult to get out. It's really weird, but, you know, always are on the side of caution when you're running with your vape. Right, okay, there's video updates out of the way. Usually we go for funny stories. You got any funny stories or stories in general?
I was going to say, we're not always comedians, but sometimes we do have a story, and luckily mine comes just today, where just today, a neighbour from a couple of doors up came down. Actually, he wasn't a neighbour, he was the grandson of a neighbour. This isn't boring, I promise you. Look, the crux of it was he was visiting from Australia to visiting his grandmother, and he saw that I was vaping in the garden out the front, and he just pulled up outside and said, look, I've just seen your... Imagine it in an Australian accent. Get in. Look, I just pulled up. No, it wasn't too bad. His Cletus coil had, he said it's just given out, it's burning. I can't find a vape shop anywhere around here. Where can I get a coil from? I'm like, dude, our only local vape shop is like 20 minutes in this direction, and it's a real fucking pig to get to and find and park, and I'm not even guaranteeing for you they've even got replacement parts for what you're looking for. But I said, what is it? At that point, I didn't know. And he said, it's the Cleto. So I said, wait right there. I don't want you buying fags. I'm going to go get you a spare coil right now. And gave it to him. And he was like, you're joking, right? I'll give you some money. I said, don't buy fags, for fuck's sakes. That's what it's all about. That's what we're all in this for.
Yeah, that's where the vape community is really awesome, you know. That kind of leads on to what I wanted to talk about. It's not a story, it's just something that I've noticed, and it's something I sort of alluded to during the vaping news earlier. So having talked to a few people who had been vaping, you know, and at work, and had people try vaping, and they're like, you know, oh, I'm trying to give up cigarettes, go to vaping. And then they have a problem with their vape gear, so like, fuck it, I'm going back to fags. It's like, well, why did you go to vaping in the first place? You know, I find it personally really strange, you know, that, like, you know, well, it's like, you know, it'd be equivalent of, you know, like, I'm smoking, but then I drop my packet of fags, you know, in a puddle, so like, fuck it, I'm going to take up heroin. I don't care. It's really weird. And it's that sort of mentality. I just find it a little bit strange.
No, that is the mentality, though. It is going back to something that they're used to.
Yeah, I personally find it strange. I mean, admittedly, when I started, very, very first started ecigs back in around 2007, 8, somewhere around there, they were shit. They were like going to a brothel for a hug, you know. You just weren't, you were kind of going through the motions, but it just wasn't really cutting it. But now, you know, as well, some of these people, you know, have decent setups, and you're like, well, what? Yeah, I just find it really weird. My lungs just feel so much better from vaping, and I just, why someone would want to go back to cigarettes, you know, waking up with the tight chest and the sore throats and
It's
shit.
funny you should use the whole going to a brothel for a hug analogy, because that is potentially how some vapors who are smokers, who haven't been vaping for very long, treat it. It's a bit of a naughty sort of side dish, you know. Oh, I'm not really a vapor. I'm just being a bit naughty. And then as soon as anything goes wrong, well, I'm going back to fucking fags. Fuck it. But we're not all like that.
No,
not everyone is like that.
We're not. But I notice an increasing amount of people who, yeah, as well, we're talking about, you know, the whole TPD is going to either scare people into black market stuff or just go back to smoking, which I think is kind of what they almost seems like they want. You know, the facts and figures sort of just show that just go back to smoking. Just go back to smoking.
I can't.
No, there's no way I want
can't
to.
imagine myself doing it. I wouldn't. I would lick a pig's arsehole, I think, before I smoked a cigarette again. It is that.
Yeah, see,
I'm not being snobby or anything. That is personally, when I think of the smell from it and the fat cat bastards in their high ivory towers taking my money, that pisses me off to the back teeth.
Yeah, see, I could quite easily have a cigarette if I had a few pints. I could just go back and have a cigarette. But as long as I've got vape gear, I don't want to, because I infinitely prefer vaping. So I always have vape gear. This is why I carry lots of mods. But yeah, I find it strange that other people would just so willingly go back to cigarettes. Yeah, oh, it's just easier. Oh, it's, yeah, I don't have to.
Well, as how taste is subjective, we are all individuals,
yeah.
So everyone treats it differently.
Well, and I just wondered from you guys, I mean, you're watching this, are you full-time vapors? Have we got any part-time vapors, part-time smokers? That was how I was for years, you know. I used to use vaping to help cut down on cigarettes. It was only once vaping got a lot better in terms of performance and flavour and everything that I actually transitioned to much preferring that. But, you know, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from you where you're at and what your thoughts are on that.
Also, I would like to know if you would lick a pig's arsehole before you'd stick a cigarette in your mouth.
And on that rather disturbing note, I think it's about time we started winding up to say goodbye.
Okay, guys, that about wraps it up. Pig's arseholes and all for this vlog for this week. Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we done?
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps us out a lot. If you could as well, follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We are quite
chatty.
Also, what this guy likes to tell us is, if you would be so kind, please share us.
yeah, always give us a share, help us grow, and so we can do bigger and better things with you.
We're always up for a threesome. Always. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching Smog Vlog.
Help. Procedure that could save 95% of birth problems. Delivery room procedure.
Outtake number 1
Yeah, I don't know.
in the bag. Just give it a read. That's enough of this bullshit. Moving on to the next. Why did I say bullshit? This isn't bullshit. This was good.
Just say that's it.
Moving on to the next bullshit. No. Fuck's sakes. Moving on. It's just because usually we're just like fucking bullshit after bullshit, but that was a good one. You threw me a curveball by putting it in the middle.
Next up, we're going to Clive Bates for e-cigarette impact assessment. Oh, fucking hell. E-cigarette impact assessment exposes... E-cigarette impact assessment exposes useless and illegal policy. Simple as that.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right, that about cuts it for the vaping news for this vlog, week, month, year. Who knows? Let's say it again. Yeah, I'll just say for this vlog. Right, that's about it that made the cut for this vaping news vlog. Let's go on to product updates, I think, next.
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
We've been vaping.
Ah. Right, okay. That's video reviews and updates. Mm-hmm.
Why is the mic facing you?
I don't know, but let's keep going. We're nearly there.
But anyway, guys, thank you for watching Smog Vlog.
Help.
I've lost my button.